All right. Let me pull up the chat as well. Twitch. Pop out. All right. We got chat. We got Zoom. We got AnyDesk. We got Twitch. We're ready to go. Let's start with a little bit of sort of things that happen in between. It's not really code related, but we did figure out the problem we were having in Git, or more specifically, Jay figured out the problem we were having with Git. And basically, it comes down to the fact that we're working on a Windows machine. And so Windows is case insensitive, and that means an uppercase file name and a lowercase file name are the same thing. But Git is case sensitive, right? Especially since it was developed on Linux. And so an uppercase file name is not the same as a lowercase file name. And somehow this particular file got committed to Git in both uppercase and lowercase form. Very specifically, the path before it, the parent directory, got put into Git in both forms. And that is why we kept getting in trouble. Because we were like, oh, update both of these files, because both of these files have changed. But they're also the same file, but Git thinks they're two different files, and then it gets confused. We're not entirely sure how it got in there weird, but anyhow, it's now removed from the weirdness, and we are back to a normal situation.
Yeah, I'll add that to trace down when it happened, even though I don't know why. You see here in the history, Git says, oh, you changed two files with this commit. And so that we're the same name, but different casing.
And you can notice the very first directory there is uppercased versus lowercased.
Yeah.
Or camel case.
So there's lots of these commits that are dual file. Occasionally, it's only one file because of how confused we were when we were trying to get through this. But there's two files, and I just kind of poked around and said, oh, there's a certain point where it stops being two files. And then this one is add a file. So from Git's point of view, we added an entire new file at this point that had the description move variable. But if you look at this one, this change here is the move variable that showed up in the other version of the file.
And so, again, if you're on Windows, this is a possible problem, but this is not a possible problem on Linux or any Unix-based system.
Yeah. And the repair was to delete Git's understanding of that second file. Windows doesn't see anything different.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at where we left off code-wise in this project. Did we leave ourselves notes? Sometimes we do that. To-do. There's a to-do here.
Oh, you saw it before I did. There. Thanks, past us.
Yes. Okay. So add candidate into the board. Abstract solving solutions.
Does that still feel like what you want to do?
So, well, I'm hoping this gets me back to where we were. So let's see if we have this right. I feel like we are starting to solve things. We were looking at candidates. We started to make candidates its own thing, right? And
this is dead. Can we get rid of that?
Yeah, we can get rid of that. I like getting rid of dead code. And we wanted this idea that the board has an idea of who its candidates are. And I like that idea a lot, actually, that we can just get the candidates from the current board. I also seem to remember that we had this thing where instead of returning an int array, we wanted to return a wrapping array. Did we do that? not do that?
See, wrapping array, like wrapping a class around the array. Is that what you're thinking?
Wasn't yeah. So what is let's go look at the candidates class. Get cells with only one candidate remaining. That returns a cell array. Okay. But the board returns an int array. I feel like that was the thing where we wanted to.
Could do that.
Yeah.
I just noticed this thing always false. We can simplify that a little bit. This isn't the key problem we're trying to address. It's just a squiggle caught my eye.
What's always false?
This parameter right here, it says expression is always false because it gets set to false here and then passed in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then returned there.
So let's go take care of that. So go into, replace with false. That's fine. And that really means step change doesn't need to set false on line 74. No, go back. Here, yeah. That you can delete. Okay. And now let's go into inlining this parameter, which there should be a refactoring for. Yep. Scroll down in there. Yep. Next.
Well, I haven't used this one much. I just want to take a closer look at what it does.
Yeah.
So what we're getting into. Okay. That was more help than I was expecting.
That it did the changes on group. Why do you think it did that?
I mean, group is a partially reserved keyword in some contexts, but
do you think that's just a formatting thing?
It's more than formatting. It's like normalizing, but yeah, it didn't need to do that at this time.
It's just interesting that it did. I'm okay with it. Like,
okay.
That region is garbage now. We can get rid of that. 97. Just repeating exactly what the method name is.
And there's something here where having this variable even existing is weird. What does it say? Invert. I want to look at it. That seems better.
Yeah, I like that. Step. No, but we do need that step change made part.
Yeah, we can do this.
That we can inline, yeah. And then we can move the Boolean underneath so the guard clause is an actual guard clause.
Mm-hmm. Is there like a move down to where it gets used? I don't want to split. So. I don't want to go this far. All right, so we have to be a little careful here. So we can go past the if. Groups. I mean, there's another
into the groups
if
here.
Right here.
That you have to do.
It has to be before this one.
Yeah.
For the tests. Should we invert this if as well?
Yep. No, undo. Wrong.
Tell me why.
It's more confusing now. And now we have a guard clause in the middle of the thing. It's worse. We're adding more returns. We have a big function, early returns, bad.
It doesn't bother me in the ways that you just described. I'll do it, but I just want to talk about what I see. I'm okay with functions that in the middle say, you know what, actually, we're not going to do anything. We changed our mind. Like, it's a different kind of early return than saying here's a partial result or another partial result. Also, this can become false as well. And so this can move down further. And then this are extra braces. And so I feel like we're like getting this variable closer to where it's relevant. But I'll revert it.
It's okay. Okay, go for it. I'm not. I'm gonna hold my nose and have you commit.
Okay. I want to do it in steps though.
Okay. See, this first thing is also doing some weird thing where it's like, again, we're doing bit manipulation here where I don't want to be. I want this inside of candidates.
I think we're done with that line of thinking. What's next?
Well, let's go back up to where we're calling it because we're deeper in than I want to be at the moment.
Yeah. It's kind of a distraction, but
Yeah.
a fun one.
Yeah. So we go to solve puzzle. So here, I really do want to get candidates into the board. So let's see what we can do to have candidates be part of the board. So the first thing we do, where does candidates exist? Here, calculate for the current state of the board on puzzle. What I want to do instead is, so let's go to, okay, what I want to do is, I'm not sure how to refactor this really nicely, but what I want to do is have that method become puzzle.get candidates.
Here.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we could make it so it passes in a force, but I like the idea in general that it's that if it doesn't have one, it just calculates it. This might mess things up, but let's try it. Maybe it needs to recalculate every once in a while.
Sure. I'm ready for her lower abstraction instructions.
Okay, so lower extraction. What I want to do is wrap this in a method. I go into calculate candidates for current state of the board. Extract everything in here as calculate candidates for current state of the board 2. Actually, before you do that, rename calculate candidates to this 2. Put a 2 at the end of it. Yeah, do that. Rename. Then pull this entire method out underneath itself. And can you put that semicolon on the same line? I don't know what's up with that. Down at the bottom. There's a couple of new line things here that I wish our formatter was just taking care of. Do we have like a thing of don't get rid of line breaks?
ReSharper in general doesn't like to remove line breaks. It'll add them, but if it sees them, it tends not to want to remove them. Clean up code. Do you want to make sure we're all the way up to date? Whenever somebody says, hey, edit some white space, I think send the robots in.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the robots didn't do what we need. But commit this anyways, because look at all that stuff that changed. And now manually put line 19 and 21 together. And put, okay, good, you did the other one already. Yeah, commit that. All right. So now I want to rename 2 to get candidates. And then I basically want to do a lazy induction here. So, and I think this will break stuff, what I'm about to do. So, okay, so do this. Go to the get candidates part. Actually, we have on get candidates right now. I want to put in a variable. So a parameter, add a parameter. We're going to add it manually.
Here.
And it's going to be a Boolean force recalculation. And it's going to be set by default right now to true.
There should be a recipe for that.
And then we are going to hold on to this as a local variable first before we return it. So on line here, so just yeah, but I don't want it as a, sorry, I want it as a field. And let's call it candidates. Candidates. Yeah. So next, Gesundheit. Nice, and then return calc. So right now it's always forcing it. And then let's put an if guard in here and say if not force or if force recalculation, do this. Or
there's a way to
if force recalculation or or sure. I don't mind the else, but I need the or. Candidates equals null. There you go. So now we can go and handle this. And the idea here is, we'll see if this works, eh? Now we can go back to our code. Oh, sorry. I want to now flip. So here where we say get candidates, put a true in here for the force recalculation. I want that to be false. And go to the calling site and put it as true. True. I'm just not sure if we can or cannot undo the force recalculation of this thing.
So this doesn't have to be a default, right?
I do want a default though.
Okay.
All right, so now let's go back.
I don't know what to call this. Also, seems stuck.
Flip default. Because the whole idea is I don't want to have to pass this stupid thing around. So we go back now to, so where's the first place we use candidates to? We use it and was changed made. So here, instead of saying, oh no, that's our actual candidates. So now let's not pass it into the puzzle. So if we go to 73, we can get rid of candidates 2 from there. Let's do the shadowing thing.
Okay.
So here we're going to do candidates equals puzzle.get candidates. Yep. Semicolon. And run that. now we can shadow it and call the other one candidates 2. And then we can,
So I just did inline parameter.
okay, that's fine.
Is
And,
that,
and now we can,
you sure? Okay.
well, so, I mean, it doesn't help us. Remove it redundant? Yeah, okay, yeah, do that. Sure, and join. And then now get rid of candidates 3. And I think you can just inline candidates. Is it only being used in one place? Okay. That's nicer. Now where's the next place that we use the candidate masks? So we're going to try to do the same thing here. So let's go into here. Try to find a number which only can appear in one column block. And here, yeah, that we can remove. Shadow again. So here where it says candidate masks, say candidates masks equals puzzle dot get candidates dot board. And that should still work. Good. Okay, so now let's, you can do this as the thing, or you can just put a var in front of it, however you want to do it. I would just put a var in front of it.
Grayed out. So I should be able to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do what you said.
And then change the other one to a 2, sure. Equally nonsensical, whether how you do it. And then we can get rid of that.
Cool. Sometimes your sharper takes a moment to offer the option.
I think also board as numbers, we can get rid of that. Try doing shadowing that. Dot get board as numbers, yeah. That passed? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these interfaces are becoming much nicer, right? And they're becoming more consistent, right? They're now just, it's basically strategy, here's a board. Strategy, here's a board. Right? And in fact, I think we can get rid of the was change made by doing the or equals. Try putting the or equals in here right first, because it doesn't matter if we pass it in then. Yep. Good, commit that. And now it's redundant, so we can get rid of it. And now we do have an interface existing.
If you look at the use of was change made, this function keys off of that. Are you trying to get rid of that parameter?
Yeah. I don't think we need it.
I don't see it, but okay.
Well, okay, it's always false. How's that?
Why is it always false? It's set here.
So this or that, or sorry, it's always true. Wait. An or equals is a lazy evaluation, right? So if was change made was true, this will not evaluate. It has to be false. That's what the or equals does, right?
It will not evaluate.
Yeah.
It's a short circuit evaluation.
Yeah.
That's what you're asking.
That's what I'm saying. So was change made must always be false. No.
Just want to check.
No. That is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the only way the method gets called is that was change made is false. Expand the or equals. Yeah. Now I'm saying that second part of the or is only called if the first thing is false.
See, this is not short circuit evaluation. This is.
Oh, okay. I'm still right. But you are also right. As Claire is pointing out that you are also right as well. But we can short circuit it. It doesn't have to be.
We can, but we don't want to because we like this neat little or equals. But what do you want me to do here?
Well, no, I actually do want to short circuit it.
Okay. So you want that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I do want to short circuit it because that means we can now say it's only getting called if this is false, and then we can get rid of this false thing.
okay. Let's do it in steps. So adding that there, what is that called?
That is change to short. Wait, which one did we just do?
I just added the or here.
Okay.
Accumulate something. That was awesome.
Accumulate. Yeah, sure.
That needs an or something or an or whatever. All right. And so we're going to.
All right.
Equals r. Ugh.
Okay. So now that can be false, and now we can go into it and remove it or inline the parameter.
Can't do it here. Yes, you can. Whoa.
And now we can go and see how it looks, because I think this whole thing doesn't need to be here, because I think the whole idea here was to do short circuiting. Yep.
So, okay. Wait, what did I just do? Replace with respect.
True. And then get rid of that can we go see the end of that curly braces? Because I'm guessing the end of that curly braces is just
the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So now this is actually much better. I mean, this is still a horrible function. It's not a horrible function. It works, but it's too long for my taste. Okay, so now let's go back to where we were, because this interface is now starting to evolve. Can we do a was change made, which the only way this is here is if this is true, right? Like, because while step change true, so oh, this is weird. So step change made is true, right? And this says while it's, so the only way it's getting the line, the only way, oh, but we set that equal to false. So this returns either, wait, How does this still work? How is was change made ever false here?
Starts false.
But change. Oh, step. No. Oh, step change is different than change. I'm sorry. I was confusing two variables. Two very, very different variables. Okay. Okay, so let's go deeper into this. Okay, so now this one here, this is a step change. It's interesting that this is a different thing than a change, right?
So this doesn't need to be passed as a parameter anywhere, right? This because this is just like a magic constant.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's inline, or yeah, and then let's go into it and shadow it out.
We can inline parameter in each place where it's used.
Give me 1 second, Jay. But
Okay. Refactoring without a net. Not like that. Something that makes a Twitch stream work well is talking about what we're doing. And when I don't have a pair partner, suddenly we're not talking about what we're doing.
So what did you do?
I did some things and decided I didn't like them and reverted. So you said shadow, and I think I'm okay with
look
that.
up shadows. We want it basically inline, but
I want to pass lookup structures. I want to, whatever it is we do.
yeah, you want to redo that, and then take it out of there.
Why is this failing? Does not exist. Did I mistype it? Mask to one's count. Mask. What am I missing here? I just mistyped the name. Okay.
There it is. Copy and paste for the one. Groups there is also misspelled, but there's also applesauce in this one, which means we haven't really paid attention to it. Same thing here, yep. Okay. So have we gotten rid of those redundants yet? No, we just shadowed both of them. Let's get rid of them.
Sharper, sharper.
All right, so now let's go back up. And so here we are still passing in candidates mask. So let's find the first one that cell groups, step change. Was change made? Okay, so I still want to get that out of here, but let's, much more importantly, we're not passing in puzzle here. What does build cell groups do on 67? Oh. Yeah, the source is public. No, so a couple quick questions. Q coding. You'll see the green bar. InCrunch is running our tests, and we actually have complete coverage. You'll also see on the sidebar the little green things showing the line coverage. They're running on keystroke, so we're just building tests and running continuously. That's happening thanks to InCrunch. And then Reganov, the source is under Jay's GitHub. Jay, can you put the link to that?
Yeah.
Chat. So we do this build cell groups, and I think what this is doing is giving us rows, columns, and blocks. Does that seem reasonable here? Can we go take a look at what applesauce 1 looks like? Rows, indexes, and blocks. Yeah, so let's rename this to rows, indexes, and blocks. Rows, indexes, columns.
Rows,
How about
columns.
Sudoku constraints? Or something. Fair enough. I'm not sure what this discriminator thing is that we have here, but whatever. That's disturbing. Okay, so now let's go back and go back up one more. So this comes from board as numbers, which means it feels like this is something that the Sudoku board itself should give us, right? So we should be able to, from the board, say, give us the constraints, which means we should be able to pass the board into there. But the question is, can we recalculate this each time? Because right here we're calculating it once and then we're making step changes, right? But even more generically, are we only using it for there, by the way, or we're using it for both of these two things? I still want to do that very much, like, because if we look at the way this is done, right? Like, you have two things. You have a step change, and we have a was. Like, what I'm trying to do here is say, like, here we have strategies, right? We have this, and why do we have board as numbers again? Can you click on board as numbers on line 71? Because we're passing it in here.
Because it gets changed.
It gets changed, yeah.
If you remove that, I think it fails.
So, yeah, that breaks. But if you were to just try manually inlining it on line 80. Okay. So now, see if you can delete it.
No.
Nope, because it's also happening down on here. So also just manually inline it there as well. Now we get rid of it. Good. So now it looks like we have these four strategies, 5 strategies, right? Boom, 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 boom. This lookup multiple solutions thing, I want to totally ignore that for a moment. And then I want to delve into the fact that there's a common interface that should be emerging for these 3 things, right? So here we have this cell groups. Can we grab that build cell groups and pop it into line? Did we commit? Are we on change? No. Okay, good. So now let's see if we can move that build cell groups into line, like just dynamically do it on line 65.
What do you want to do?
Actually, what I really want to do is put that into puzzle first. No, what I want to do first is get puzzle into line 78. So can we pass line 78 into, can we pass puzzle as the first parameter or the second parameter into here? Good. Also do it for line 75. Like I'm trying to guide us towards a more consistent interface, and then eventually a totally consistent interface, and then an actual interface, and then I want to pull these methods out as strategy pattern and say, hey, we have these 4 strategies. This is how we solve Sudoku. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think it's strategy. I think this is chain of responsibility. I think we need all of them in sequence.
Yeah. You're right. It's
But
but each of them are strategies. Like we're going through a chain of responsibility of strategies. You're thinking strategy pattern. I'm thinking Sudoku solving strategy.
I think I know where you're going, and I'm okay with going there.
Okay. That sounds good. I'll take it. Okay. So first, what I want to do is this go to 78 and that puzzle get board as numbers. I want to shadow that and get that out of here. And I want to get candidates mask out of there too. Both of those should be coming from the puzzle.
So get
the Sudoku board.
I think it's state, right? So our names are crappy.
It's bad, but it's state.
Second to last parameter.
It's also the int array. Yeah, it's not candidates mask. And then we can shadow that. Check that works. Good. And then get rid of it.
I wish the commit button was commit when ncrunch is green. So it's basically CI. I want local CI.
Candidates mask we need to shadow too.
Okay. What do we do here? Get candidates.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice.
Eventually, like as we pull this stuff out, eventually I want candidates mask completely to disappear, right? But the nice thing about this modeling is it allows us to like cut really nice borders and ignore a whole bunch of other things that we don't want to deal with at this exact moment. Okay, so now let's go back to our calling place. So here, I think we can also do a was change made or.
Like that?
It is trying to find groups of digits applesauce.
Yeah. Do you want to do it like this as well?
No,
I know
I
something.
definitely don't, because those are step changes. You're making the same mistake I made. So
making a whole new mistake. Thank you.
No, I made this mistake first, man. I claim rights to this mistake. No, so not there either. Although you could do that. But what I want to do is on 78. I want a step change made to equal was change made or I think
Yeah, I see how that's legit. It's not plain and obvious. This seems kind of stalled.
did it stall or did I break something bad?
Yeah, it might have hanged. If it doesn't progress through the solver, then it'll hang.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I broke something. Undo that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're in an infinite loop, Claire. I think you've called that one.
How do you know it's infinite? Let's wait a little longer just in case.
We'll just wait till the end of infinity. Then we'll know for sure.
We can solve halting problem before our time box is up.
All right, so do we revert that?
Yes.
Can we get in crunch to show us green again?
Come on in, crunch. Oh, I guess if it's
I think
in
it's
an
still
infinite
in the
loop,
infinite loop.
I'm behind.
I know this isn't that long, but it feels like another infinity waiting for in crunch to work the first time. Okay, so now let's go back to the calling blocks.
Oh, my computer's crapping up. I'm going to drop off the stream. If there are comments, let me know.
All right, I'll let you know. So
I feel like I'm a little lost here.
we want to go back to the place where we call that 3 times.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, so we pass a puzzle. Now step change made. That's the thing I want to. So I want to start by, oh no, sorry, not step change made. It's the cell groups. Oh, we have candidates masks being passed into 75. Let's get rid of that first. So go into 75 and shadow this. We're going to have to add in the was change made again. Feel very weird about that. But let's go back. Okay. That's looking good. And this is looking goodish. Ugh. Okay, I want to discuss this one. There's 2 things I want to fix. One is this right from there. The second is was change made and step change made. These 2 things seem to go together, and I think they need to actually go together. And so I was going to group them. Which one do you think we should do first? Which one?
Cell groups?
Cell groups? Okay, let's do that. So what I want to do here on this build cell groups is I want to pass in puzzle to it. So
do you think that there's an order? Like, I want to inline this for a moment and see that it passes. This can be done late. If I inline this as well, we now know if that all passes, it doesn't. It passes.
Yeah, it should pass.
So we now know that it can be lazy created or fetched or whatever. and that's good news.
Okay,
So
sure.
that's temporary just to see that
See
order
how it works.
operations is an issue.
I
Tests are
definitely
happening.
like what you're doing though. This board is numbers. Inline that because I think it's only being used in one place, right?
Yeah.
Is it only being used at one place? I think it is.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. All right. So inline that.
So I think basically you want to turn this into puzzle.build cell groups,
Oh, I
right?
totally do want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And so we wish that there was a refactoring that just did that. It's
yeah,
so
I
close.
totally wish there was. So but I think the way that we do it in our small groups, well,
The puzzle onto Sudoku board. What does it do?
it should move it. It's just a static function right now, right?
Yeah.
Good.
And then, but we can't.
Just put the
Oh,
puzzle in the front.
okay.
Can you do that? Yeah. I mean, so we can do this in small steps, or we have tests. We can do it in big steps. I don't care. I'm totally fine doing it in big steps.
I'll do it later.
So just puzzle into the board and get rid of the board as numbers on the other side. Yeah, no parameters. Just no parameters. Just no parameters.
Maybe, are you late
Can go into
to
here.
your seconds?
Oh, maybe I am late. 39. Oh yeah, I'm 15 seconds late.
Yeah.
Hang
Hi,
on.
I'm from the future.
Let me stop the NADS and. Oh no, hold on. Prepared for this eventuality. So if you have a Mac that overheats, keep an aluminum stand in the freezer. And that way, you can cool it down quite quickly when needs be. All right. We should be back to doing it again. Let's try again. Okay, so do you clear that factoring?
I think so.
And so the next step is going to be.
Shadow cell group in spaces that puzzle.
I think Claire's actual stopping is coming from my end and my computer being overheated. Yeah, here are shadowing shell groups in here. And then we're taking it out. Pull up my. Activity monitor and see what's going on here. Yeah, something is not happy with my computer. But it should be cooling down and returning to normal.
Can you put it outside?
I took the aluminum base from the freezer. And the Mac itself is aluminum, and aluminum is a decent conductor of heat. So it should be working soon. Nope, but I currently have a system kernel that is running at 70, no, not 74. 74% of my total capacity for the computer. Yeah, and I can't actually move my mouse right now. It does make this a bit more complicated. Oh, maybe it's coming back.
We could align that.
Let's see what. Not sure what else to do. See if that makes a difference. No, but I still have. All right. Well, so just from a higher level, since fortunately we're in a situation where we can do that. Yep. And this is taking state as well. So we can get rid of state and we can get rid of final state. How far behind am I from you? Like a minute? So let's deal then with that double the change. Can we make a change class that has two parameters, basically a tuple, and I think it was like overall change or a state change, like so cell change or a state change. Those are the two kinds of changes that can occur. Sorry, cell change or a possibility change.
Cell.
Yeah, I'm still.
So I've got cell change and possibility change. Do those sound
Yeah, that sounds right.
right?
And
Yeah, hold on, this thing's annoying me. I want to get rid of it.
and then we really want a function on here that is sort of like do if unnamed. And so I guess I have to call lim. Again, like my processor is still doing really bad, so I have no idea what is actually happening.
All right, so I've created the class that contains two tools and created an instance of it in the place where I think we need it. We're going to initialize both of the values initialized to true.
Yep.
Actually, before I do that, I have a question for you, but I'll need you to see the code.
Ask the
For the
question
question
without
to make
me seeing the code,
sense.
because that's gonna.
Yeah. So at the top of solve puzzle, it says was change made equals true, while was change made equals false. So my first thought of that is it wants to be a do while. Is that going to help or hinder where you're going?
Don't switch the do while yet. 1,068% for my kernel task. That is why nothing is working, which also means probably this is not getting recorded, which is a little unfortunate. Let me see what happens if I pull and Oh yeah, that dropped my processor quite considerably
Hmm.
from 1,000 to 39. All right, let's start the video again. Ugh. I really, really wish Mac would fix that problem. All right, and how's my time? I'm now up to the second. All right, great. We can continue.
Here.
Very sorry about that.
Okay. So I wrote this excellent line of code while you were away.
Change it. Yep, that sounds great. Okay, and then go into change state made. It has two things. Cell. Yep. Cool. Okay, so then what I want to do here is I want both of these to default to false.
Do you want to just move these variables into that class as is first and then make it smarter?
Sure.
Like, so we've changed the names. I don't know which one is which, but
So
here we can write this dot.
yeah. So okay, so let's go back. Uh, let's change the names so they're the same. Can you hold the other name as a comment so I don't have to think of it again? Oh, my kernel task is skyrocketing again. So let me try one more thing. Okay, so that should be better. Say something just so I can see you on Zoom.
Check 1, 2.
Perfect. Okay.
Hi. I'm right here.
Um, huh. Yeah, no, my kernel process though is still going very badly. So this is not. Let me try one other thing. All right. Let's see if that works. Okay, so we have the variables be the same. You've moved them all on to change state. Nice. Now can you rename? Oh, you did.
I just moved the 1
Okay,
on to
let's
change
move
state.
the step
Is that a
change.
refactor that or commit that?
Yeah, that's a refactoring. It's extract class of type. Yeah. And then let's do the same thing for step change made. You're manually renaming this? Or no? Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So now let's rename those two things to the names I suggested in the beginning.
Before we do you want to start passing this into these methods?
Not yet.
Because if we wait, then we have renames that are out of sync between the caller and called
I
methods.
actually don't want them passed in sort of at all.